When I used to go to the islands, the bugs used to eat me alive. My cousins used to laugh at me. We used to walk on the streets. My feet burning. Them niggas talk about you got sweet feet. Laughing. Going into how mystical. And I grew up with a lot of my cousins, my family, bush people, we call it, which is bush nature. Yang, bush, what? You know, like. It's natural. I have to always put this story out there. So I go out there when I'm about, I think it was about 13, 14, I'm turning 14. And my father had a nice spot in Cascades in Trinidad. Real fly, he did architectural, did a lot of work, a lot of business shit, stuff. We had this big space that was 3 floors, and he had a basement layout and a nice long wall, straight wall. And it was kind of rigid, like it was kind of designed like brick layout, like, or whatever, some kind of shit. And my cousin looks at me, and looks at the wall, and he says, "Watch this." And he runs on the wall, and he does about 5 to 6 steps straight on the wall and jump off like the fucking Matrix. This is 1991. I look at him and say, "What the fuck was that?" He looks at me and smiles and says, "When you start running, look at the wall like it's the floor, and your whole perception of gravity will change." Yo, did the motherfucker. Me and him used to be out in the basement of my father's house, jumping off the wall, doing karate kicks, doing all kind of martial arts, boom, boom. He used to teach me how to like jump off of like tree to tree and shit, like branch to branch and shit, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's indigenous shit. It's magic in the perception that when you know it, like you said, change your perception, you can acquire it. It's nothing that is not more out of reach than out of awareness. That's why in spirituality, they say it's more about remembering and understanding, because you're remembering your ancestors. Your ancestors, that is magic. Magic comes from nature. Spirituality is the attunements of balancing and advancing. When you lose track of that, it's because there's an opportunity of growth and processes, which I wanted to make this one subject about, make it two, goes in misconception, which brings back growth. Words called like curses. What we dealing with, truthfully, is a lot of curses. The word is cursed, and the perception of how we live until we create a process is misunderstood. Every curse entails a formality of slavery. Every curse is a slavery concept. The concept of our race, to a degree, is literally a cursed perspective, like slavery. No one in it, truthfully, has dominion over it. The concept itself has dominion. Everyone in it is a slave. I'm gonna give you an example. Race is a color perspective. The problem with that is that our ancestors could not have made that up because they were not considered race. The concept of race came out in the 1600s. Watch the math and the science. This is magic. It came out in the 1600s. Before that, people were from certain areas, and it was a monarchical reign, so you had that. So if you're from Scotland, because you're from the land. England, because from the land. Parts of Africa, you're from the land. You know what I'm saying? From Morocco, you're from Morocco. That's that people. Now we want the color. Now, here how that changes. People decided to take an opportunity to manipulate something that you couldn't do if you following your ancestors. That's the whole reality. You couldn't do that unless your ancestors allowed you to do that, especially identification change. Change your identification. The first rule to break it and make a slave is you change their identity. You break them from the ancestors. We were all broken from our ancestors with the perspective. Secondly, we start calling ourselves colors. Spirits are called colors. Zeus is white. Hades is red. Aries is black. Organ is red. Samadhi is all black. Orisha is white. I can go into other cultures. You know what I mean? Only reason why you even get yellow from Chinese is because Emperor Yu is yellow. Emperor Yu the Great is yellow. They're spirits, not colors. We could not call ourselves that because the identification of that word is already used. We are from land. So when we started calling each other colors, we started being manipulated by that concept that is not sound by our own culture. It is only kind of designed to break away from royalty itself among our concepts, only because nature's changed and shifts herself. I'm gonna go into it a little deep. I sat back with this shit. We went from a monarch perspective to a color scheme. Word scheme is very strong. That maintained the perception that to a degree anyone could become a slave, because the word slave master means teacher.